In any sort of work, I feel it's important for an author to situate themselves within their creation. I am a 22-year-old white trans man living in the Midwest of the United States. I have been a musician for most of my life, performing on stage since I was 11. The transgender existence in relation to music has been a unique one for me to experience, as well as to witness others experience. When I started playing music, I was 9. I came out as trans when I was 14. In the ensuing years, I started a medical transition using testosterone and eventually getting top surgery. When I came out and in the following years, it occasionally would feel like there was some sort of expectation on how I should present in my musicianship. I felt like I was pressured to be the trans musician, when I truly just wanted to be a trans musician. I wanted these identities to coexist but not be one and the same. I have written one song about my experience as a trans person, and it consistently gets the strongest reaction from the crowds. I can't help but ask why. What is it about this song that inspires the applause? The phones to come out for videos to go on Instagram stories, what is it? Is it some subsurface cisgender guilt coming out? A pity? Is it genuinely that good of a song? It's these questions that made me hesitant to go down the trans musician route in the first place, because it would leave me with the ultimate question. Do they like my music? Or do they like me because I'm trans? This led me on another path, and it's the path that ultimately drew me to working on this thesis. I wondered about the musicians before me that engaged with their gender presentation. I wanted to know how they did it and why they did it, even if they weren't trans like me. I know there's no right or wrong way to be trans or be a trans musician, but we can learn from these before us. After all, the idea of a queer futurity relies on the evidence of the queer past. No sugarcoating, this is a devastating time for trans people in America. Trans rights are being slashed across the country in every capacity, and it's been heartbreaking and petrifying to watch. I've seen countless articles and posts about it, but one in particular that stuck with me was an Instagram post from an artist I like called Dream Girl, that just so happens to share the hometown of Kansas City with me. The March 8th, 2023 post features a photo of the lead singer, Lacey Hopkins. Part of the caption sparked my interest, both as a trans person and as someone working on this thesis. It says, "Arkansas, our southern neighbor and one of my favorite places, banned drag in any form. No one can perform in any capacity in drag. And you can imagine how tightly yet loosely it is defined. I don't know if, based on my own appearance, Dream Girl is allowed to perform in Arkansas anymore. I'm non-binary and I don't know what I look like. I don't know how a fascist would perceive me, but I've got a good guess and I've been growing out my hair in shame/fear. The discussion of labels has always been interesting to me, and is something very relevant in the work I've done. What exactly constitutes queerness and gender expression is highly up for interpretation, but in our modern political and social context, that room for interpretation being put in the wrong hands is exceedingly dangerous for so many people. By categorizing certain things as queer or not queer, lawmakers can group certain performance styles into drag, inherently banning it. This is troublesome. However, again, this is not the first time we have dealt with something like this in the queer community. They have tried to quiet and subdue us before, but we have never been silenced. We adapt, innovate, and push back. Yes, I am worried, but the informative queer past tells us that our queer future isn't going anywhere. By studying our queer past, we not only learn a history lesson, but we gain the tools needed for preserving our queer future, even in the face of adversity. For trans people, trans musicians, and queer people of all walks of life.